Hi, beautiful viewers. Welcome to the Round Table. This place where we talk about everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. Every real issue affecting real people in real life, right? And I'm your host. My name is Gania. And today we're talking about a very sensitive topic that is affecting virtually every Nigerian in Nigeria. And this is housing. Whether buying a property or renting a property, you've probably encountered one misverb or the other. And that is why I have to my left Mr. Israel, a legal advisor. He will be giving us tips on how to navigate the renting and buying world in the legal category. Yes. To my right, I have the ever gorgeous real estate mogul, Joy Joseph. She'll be giving us pros and cons of real estate industry. Welcome to the first episode of Say It All with Kenya. My first question goes to the real estate mogul, Joy Joseph. In your experience, for how long now have you been in the real estate game?
Over 5 years.
What are some questionable tips, questionable fees that you hear in the industry and you're like, wow, so this is also a fee that gives you that question mark, like, okay, what are those fees?
One would be the inspection fee that I hear most agents would charge, and I hear that it's like compulsory for you to pay a certain amount for you to be shown before you're shown the property of your choice. Another would be compulsory registration and caution fee as well. Yeah, I don't think anyone should be mandated to pay a compulsory fee prior to when they are able to like inspect the property. That's not right. I feel or I believe that they should have access to the property first, be able to view it, and then decide before payment is made. At least that's what the law describes, right?
Of caution fee, legal fee, administrative fee, all of the fees. I'm going to be asking my legal advisor here, is Mr. Israel, to tell us what he thinks legally, if there is any legal stipulated law guiding these fees. Tell us.
Okay, thank you very much, Ganiyat, and thank you very much, Joy. If we want to look at that topic, look at it from perspective of industry practice and global best practice,
Yeah.
and what does the law say? So in the industry, we find that there are some unscrupulous fellows who ask for more than they should ask. So I'm aware that the law says that 10% for agency when it comes to rental, and then 5 to 10% when it comes to actual purchase for agency fee. There are some agents that go as high as 20%, 15%. We've seen those kind of situations. So this is totally illegal because this contradicts the stipulation of the law. So and also there's the caution fee, the non-refundable caution fee, and then registration fee. All these go against standard best practice.
Moving on, I'm going to be asking my gorgeous real estate mogul. I will always say gorgeous when I talk about her.
I'll take that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have you ever encountered a client, right, that finds out that he has been double played by an agent? And what causes this and how does it happen?
We have the aspect of rental and we have the aspect of sales. So the most common area where this double dealing is done is more of rental. So we see agents renting a property to two different fellows, and then there's a collide. So that's illegal, and I feel clients should be aware of what they do, like just have proper information of the property and all of that.
And speaking of what the law says, as my very handsome host stated before, what does the law say in the cases where a person has been duped, the measures were not taken, and now you've gotten in a shady contract? What are the measures that the law helps bring such a person to justice?
When somebody has been scammed. And this is no longer just real estate again. It's now a criminal act.
Yes.
So we are looking at the criminal code, section 419, the criminal So yeah, you can actually go to court um, and sue because you've been scammed. Also, if you want to, of course, for specific recovery, now say maybe you bought a land, you paid for the land, and then the they gave the land to somebody else.
Yeah.
Because now you know that okay, you've been swindled by the buyer, so you can go to court and make your claims in court and for to recover your property that you've already paid for specific recovery.
Or your refund.
Yeah. But in a situation where it's not the owner that sold to you, it's just some stranger, and then because you are because you didn't do your due diligence
And gullible.
so that's an outright crime. So there's nothing you're claiming because the person who sold to you does not even own the property in the first place.
True. So you're fighting me for my property that I didn't sell to you. How do I come in?
Exactly.
Totally understandable.
So the onus is on you to do your due diligence. So you know who actually
Make your
owns this
proper
property
research.
and everything.
Yes.
And if you don't do that, well, I wish you all the best in court.
And that brings me to my general open question to the both of you to help somebody out there listening. What would you consider red flags when it comes to agency fees?
Non-transparency. So when an agent is not transparent enough to show you all the hidden costs, right? So
Hidden charges.
yeah, hidden charges, and also every client should be able to request for that. You should ask the charge coming from the agent, and whatever the charges are, just have like a complete, total, comprehensive understanding of what constitutes charges and all.
Israel, legally, what do you think?
Legally, I can't say specifically, but generally, when you step into an agent's office, there are things that you should look out for. You know, there are things that they're just like outright red flags. For
Like
example,
the color of my dress, very red.
and by the way, your dress is very beautiful.
Thank you.
But there are things that are outright red flags. So you see, when an agent start asking you to come and pay 20% as opposed to the stipulated 10% or 5%, or they start telling you come and pay registration fee. There are certain ways that professionals don't act. Professionals don't do things that are against industry practice.
That's bad.
So when you spot somebody that is doing something that is not industry practice, that's actually a red flag.
How do you build your trust with clients? Like, how do you build that existing strong bonding trust with your clients to, keep them coming where they don't feel like they have to record everything, record your voice, check inside your throat. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can trust you, especially new clients now. That's how do you go about it?
Yeah, for people we partner with, such as developers, we make sure that we vet them, like we check those properties listed,
Right.
and we just try to like do an overview of the
Thorough
documentation.
research.
Yeah, like we work with reputable developers. So over the years, we've been able to like hold developers accountable. So for a developer that says for an off-plan property that says he's going to deliver in 3 years and he doesn't deliver, then we just try to reduce our dealings with such a developer. So we mostly work with developers that that are vetted. Yeah, so we are able to trust them. That's how we have been building trust over the years.
Still on the issue of trust, I'm going to ask you, Israel, what is the first thing you advise a client to vet, right? To verify before committing payment to a property or project?
Before paying for a property or anything, basically,
Right.
you have to. There are two things, or there are a couple of things rather that you must arm yourself with. First of all, it's the knowledge. Second, due diligence.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah, of course. Second of all, due diligence. And then you must always use a professional. Never underestimate the importance of using a professional. And finally, your lawyer. Always have a lawyer. So now, your due diligence would let you know what is about the land, what's happening with the land, is there a problem?
Asking around as well.
Ask around, those things,
Yeah.
So you just ask around. Then your lawyer also is part of the due diligence process. He goes to the land registry or the and check for the
Mhm.
property, see if there's any problem, do
Verification.
all the verification and stuff.
Mm.
And your professional realtor, you need a professional to bargain for you, give you nice deals, discuss, be stand between. That's why they call us brokers. Yeah, so
Middleman.
to stand between you and
Mm.
the seller, give you a nice deal and all of
Yeah.
that. And of course, by yourself, you do your due diligence also. So those are the things that you should arm yourself with if you want to buy, if you want to purchase a property.
On that, something just came to my mind. I just remembered the situation I heard sometime. The developers recommending a lawyer to you. What's your take on that?
See, anybody that is committing money for anything, you're
Mm.
paying money for something, would be unwise of you to not go with your own lawyer. Except maybe it's a small money, for mostly for rentals,
The fees, no, the rent is not
yeah,
so high.
and I mean individuals usually don't go with their lawyers. But imagine say you want to rent to a bank, for example.
Right,
They'll,
right,
they'll, they'll come with their lawyers, probably senior advocates. In fact,
right,
do you understand? I mean that because they understand the value of having legal representative. So you must always have your own legal representative
right.
because a lawyer would if the developers are giving you their own lawyer to represent you, I don't think that lawyer would represent you. It's actually representing
The
them.
developer, right, right.
That if you're doing such kind of dealings, like if you're dealing with developers, you always deal with a company that's registered. Yeah, company that can sue and be sued. Yeah,
Yeah.
so basically a registered company. Any company that means business actually they'll first register themselves. Yeah, so those are the ways that you know if you're dealing with the right professionals or not.
So I know there are limitless questions that people want to ask, and that's why we're going to keep our comment section open for you to ask more questions. But my wrapping up question for this session, and it is to the both of you, what is that one advice you would give to someone looking to rent or to buy? Because the larger population rents, not everybody can afford to buy properties.
Yeah.
So what's that one piece of advice that you give somebody looking to rent or to buy a property?
My advice would always be verify, verify, verify. You
Absolutely.
can never go wrong with verifying. So even though we know that there is a deficit in the Nigerian housing market, it's always good to
Pertinent.
take your time to verify. You cannot go wrong in verifying. Verify the property you're going to rent. Just do yourself. You can just go around sometime, like if you're renting an apartment or a house, you could just find time to go around, check the environment. You could just like ask around, go to the neighborhood and ask.
And on this issue of seasons as well, the rainy season, the dry season,
Yeah,
and all of
yes,
that.
yes. And then for sale, you can also so one thing that people would always ask is, what about the people in diaspora buying? So we know that most of them might not be able to like come physically for an inspection. So is you can always do a virtual inspection. And aside that, like my colleague here Israel said, you always need a lawyer, and that lawyer helps you in verifying. Yeah, so that's my advice.
Yeah, and for me, since we're on the topic of illegal charges that agents charge, I would say don't be too what's that word now? Don't be too hasty.
Desperate.
Don't be desperate. Yeah, because an agent that tells you I'm going to take 20% as opposed to 5% that he's supposed to take has sensed your desperation. And of course,
And he's using it.
yeah, and of course, we're in a very populated country of of over 200 million persons, and housing is actually an issue in Nigeria. So because of the demand, so there's a tendency for things like this to happen, and I feel like the buyers or the renters actually encourage these things because if somebody is charging you 20% commission and you are paying it, you're encouraging the person. I mean, speak out.
Yeah.
Speak out. Don't be desperate. There are stipulated rules for these things, and there are bodies that you can report to.
But sometimes it's not quite easy to not be desperate, right?
Yeah, of course, but just try and hide your desperation. and also
That is
know what
correct.
processes are available to you under the law. You can report the agent. Any agent that asks for what is not supposed to ask for, you can report the agent and like that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining on the show. I'm really, really elated, and I've also personally learned a lot from by sitting in the middle of two wise and intelligent people in their different fields. Yes, that brings us to the end of today's episode. Stay tuned for the next episode. My name is Kania, and I will always be your host.